Hello. Time for the weekly video. And first of all, I feel like I should sort of apologize because I am doing another set of Advents, and I'm sure to some people it's annoying because it's not on topic, except, the topic is it's my channel. um, and actually I've had two other channels that are just like, it just doesn't work for me. It works for me to put everything together in one place. So sorry. Um, and I think it's cute. So sorry. Um, for this week, I don't know. I mean, again, usually it is a specific thing that I've sort of had recurring during the week that's come up often. And then that's what I talk about. I had a lot of things come up this week. So it's not one specific sort of thing that's taking all of my focus. Because I had some really weird things. I guess that's the through line. They're all really weird things. I was told. Oh, and microphone. That's a bad spot. Let me move it. You can probably hear all this, and I'm sorry. It's a joke. Anyway, my entire channel is a joke. I was told by somebody, I think this is outrageous, who like has a clue and has known me for a while, that they don't think I would qualify for having a diagnosis of depression anymore. And I'm like, what? What? And the same person said, like, brace yourself. Because I'm like, what? That I am probably the most cheerful person that they know. And that I seem to be able to bounce back from major hardships better than anybody else they know. Now, first of all, I think this is an age thing. I really do. Again, with people who have avoidant personality disorder, who've been there, it's like it's really, really bad when you're in your early 20s. It's pretty miserable when you're in your 30s, and it starts to sort of, you kind of figure a way. And actually, I have watched somebody who is going through that trajectory now, and is seems to start, you know to have life working, basically, again, because here's all the expectations in the world, and I'm going to throw them all out and do my own thing. And it gets to a point where doing your own thing works, and it does sort of ebb and flow. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty outrageous, because I actually feel like I'm getting ready to have another dip, if I'm not already dipping. Where it feels like, I mean, it's just the way the world is now, but it really does feel like I've been skating along and being really lucky, and things are going to either take a radical change or need a radical change. I don't know, feeling my age, feeling my oats. I don't know what that is. I just thought that was crazy. And the other thing that somebody told me that was, I consider them to be on the same wavelength, was that it comes to a point where you have to basically burn everything down. Or wait, no, that's that's not it. It was opposite. It was that you don't need to burn everything down to make a change or something. I don't know. Again, it was like, what the heck? To the point, it just like it scrambled my brain to hear these things. Um, like absolutely. So now, of course, I do one. I have avoidant personality disorder, and trying to interpret like micro expressions, etc., and figure out what the heck is going on is like the way of life. I really do try to figure out what, because I can't really say. First of all, it feels like ego, like massive, like talk to me about myself type thing when I hear anything like that. So it's like, oh, I can't really ask somebody to go into further depth because they're talking about me. That's not like, no, wrong. I mean, maybe you could say, could you clarify? But to really say, what the hell are you talking about? Um, which is what I would absolutely like. I think that yes, a few hours discussion of to basically so that I can convince these people that they're completely wrong to have that impression. Um, but also there's a concept I hear it most often um, with autism because my kid is autistic, so this is where I hear it. But there's this concept of masking where you're basically it's a fake persona. Actually, I saw this sign. It was outside of a restaurant. I thought it was brilliant. It was something like, I didn't fake a whole personality for you not to tip me or something like that. I was like, uh-huh. Yeah, that's what it is. Faking a whole personality. And it's like, have I gotten to the point where like that fake thing that I'm putting out trying to pass has gotten to the point where I'm really passing? Has it gotten to the point where people think that's what my reality is? I mean, it's funny. I mean, not definitely not funny, haha. But it's peculiar to me that the people who have avoidant personality disorder, who I guess I don't know, they'll tell me like this is the real thing. This is what I'm not telling other people. This is, and they don't ever come out and say, hey, this is to the depth of exactly what I'm talking about. But they'll be like, oh yeah, they'll allude to it like, oh my god, this thing that I'm going through. Um, and I don't know that they tell anybody else. It's like compartmentalizing. Like there are certain people that know this about you and certain people that know that about you, but there's nobody out there that would know everything. I mean, first of all, that's really difficult to have somebody know everything, but also that's a self protection thing that certain people you can trust with this and certain people you can trust with that. But the idea of putting all your eggs in one basket, no, no. So, is that what it is? Or, I mean, the other possibility is that it's accurate. That, you label yourself a certain way and you don't notice when you change. Maybe it is accurate. Maybe I've integrated the depressive part. I mean, I know that there are points where I'll be so low and so flat. And maybe I'm just not doing that right now. You know, I do these because that was the other thing. They said that I'm really good at pulling myself out of depressive things and finding ways to distract myself. What are you doing, Kat? She's trying to scratch on furniture. Not cool. Um, yeah, I can pull myself out. I can recognize I'm getting to a certain point and shift to not do. I mean, it's basically what I've been saying over and over again, to not dwell. I hope this is even on. It is. To not dwell when these thoughts hit you, but to see them, acknowledge them, don't push them away, but don't stay stuck on thoughts. I mean, maybe I'm just doing the therapy type techniques. Is that what you want to call them? I'm doing what you're supposed to do. I don't know. But I do know that that seems very surface. You know, like a functioning addict. That that you can get through things and maybe people don't notice what's going on underneath. I feel like that's what it is. Because I feel like I could fall apart at any moment. And maybe that's inaccurate. Maybe maybe I'm trying to stay that in that status quo thing, that I am actually improving, so I'm trying to tug myself back, but I don't think so. I think what it is I think I put on a good enough front that people are buying it. Okay, so let's say that's what it is. Let's say that I am still, as messed up. I mean, it's avoidance to me. It's like a permanent state of mourning, that you're longing for something that you can't have, and then you just get to the point where it's just like you realize this is not me doing things wrong. This is not me failing to, hit these milestones, that I just can't have them. And so I've got this low level sadness, this longing, and that's what the avoidance is to me. Because I mean, everybody. I mean, I don't even know how many. I suppose it's pretty easy. It's the math problem with the bangs, with the exclamation point. It's a pretty easy way to figure out how many possible variants of what somebody could be, to be to have avoidant personality disorder, how many different varieties of, um, the traits that somebody could have, plus all the different levels. Like, I mean, you have to have like a baseline amount. Like, this is how much of each trait you need to have in order to qualify. But people could have like a lot of it, and people could be like barely getting to that limit, and all the stuff in between. So, infinite varieties of avoidant personality disorder, but really that's it as far as I can see. Is the morning, is the wishing for something that I just can't have. I mean, like I've described it before, as somebody is like in a, paraplegic in a wheelchair, really, like they can't climb Everest, um, which is maybe really insensitive, but that's that's the metaphor. Okay, so what? If I'm faking it well enough to get by on the outside, then how much does it matter what's going on inside? I mean, I have a secondary issue that has nothing to do with it, that I've sort of like, it seems more concrete and easier though. Okay, so here it comes, some TMI stuff that nobody wants to know about. It's completely separate, but again, parallel, the same type of thing. Oh, do I want to talk about this? Who cares? I'll talk about it. Who gives a crap? Um, and it's going to get me flagged. I got flagged in another video for talking about it, whatever. So I have, I'll call it ED. Um, disordered, um, God, I don't know how to say this without getting flagged. Anyway, um, whatever. And the only therapy I'm in right now, like active therapy, believe it or not, is for body dysmorphia, because I just can't grasp reality. Okay. Um, and I'm like, okay, this is a fact. I see myself differently than what I actually look like. I have a self perception that I take up a lot more space than I actually do. What a pain in the neck. I'm going to have to measure myself before I get any kind of clothes from now until the end of time, because I just see myself as a different shape than I am. Okay, whatever. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, okay, the therapy isn't doing anything. I'm just going to have to accept this. This is going to be I'm just never going to accept, reality. Okay, whatever. It's kind of like I'm always going to have to wear glasses when I drive, because I can't, I'm nearsighted. I can't see things without the aid of the corrective glasses. I am never going to see myself correctly. Okay, it's no big deal, right? If that's it, then there's no point in the therapy. I'm never going to make any impacts on this block I have in my head. But that doesn't mean the rest of the crap that I have experienced in the past is actually still there. Maybe it's under the, who cares? It's under the surface, right? No big deal. Mhm. Mhm. Well, I had to have testing done recently, and because of that, they had to basically severely restrict my diet so that they could, I had to go under for testing, and so I had to, like, not eat because you could asphyxiate and all this crap. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Well, when I had to do that, I it basically, you know, there's a part of me that's like, okay, look, I'm doing this correctly. This is, I'm the good person because I'm following these rules precisely. If you see the junk I'm doing for the advents, that's the type of thing it scratches because it's like, here's this little thing. I'm following the rules. Look, I'm completing it. I'm doing it right. I mean, look at me. How I'm even describing it, right? Well, it's the same thing, the exact same thing. When I basically went on a liquid diet for a day so that I would not asphyxiate when they had to put me under for my testing, all that, you're doing it correctly, you're doing it right, you're doing it good, you're being perfect, which is what is the trigger. It's always been the trigger. And it is actually tied, in my case, to avoidant personality disorder because in my, the way I grew up, nothing was ever right. Everything, even if I did something right, I was criticized for doing things too perfectly and, embarrassing people because I thought I was better than them and blah. I mean, it didn't matter. This is why I say if you criticize me or you give me a compliment, I react the same way because of how I grew up. There was no way to do things right, and I crave that. Well, guess what? I thought that I was in a pretty good place, and it wasn't there anymore. It's under the surface, and it wasn't really affecting anything. Well, guess what? It's still there. It's still there, and it's that easy. That's all it takes is for a doctor to say, please follow this protocol. Guess what? It's something I can do that's correct. That it's like, this is a procedure that I can follow step by step, and doing it, I can do something right. And I go right to that. Well, so then what does it matter that under the surface of everything, that's radically different than this appearance that I'm giving? I think it actually does matter. And I also think that I've been primed to always have somebody else's opinion is paramount to my opinion, that somebody else's opinion about me is more important than what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, and what I think about myself. That everybody else's opinion is more important than my own, than my experience. Because again, that's how I was trained growing up. And that's why I am the way I am now, is because it's a coping mechanism to deal with how I grew up. And it's really kind of sad and pathetic. The people who did this basically are not in my life. The only person who would maybe even have access to me at all is that's still around for real. Like the only people left. Like either they're gone to the, you know, four corners of the world, or they are not in this world anymore. The only one that could be left is my sister, who I have no contact with, who I think I maybe had one text with her literally in the entire last year, calendar year. That's it. One. She's really good at ghosting. I'm sure she's really mad. I'm sure that at least one of her kids is now another one of her kids has graduated high school. Who knows? Whatever. And they blame me like I'm the one that's not having any contact with them. But she isn't either. But I'm the one that has to take the hit for it, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so I'm protecting myself against people who aren't around and can't come after me anymore. And yet, I assume that that's how everybody in the world works. Despite actually, for the most part, nobody acts like that. But I just think that, again, because it was like everybody was fake in my, I mean, everybody thinks that, I mean, it's not everybody. My oldest friend, who I talk to once in a blue moon, still going on 50 years. How's that for awful? But seriously, going on 50 years, good 45 years, um, has actually came right out and said, and it was like the opposite of gaslighting. I don't know what that is. Validation, I don't know, was like, I got to tell you, point blank said about your mother, oh my God, your mother saved my life for um, seeing him and just being like acknowledging him and saying you're okay the way you are. And yet, oh my God, I've seen my own eyes, like actually, and he actually thinks for real, and not exaggerating, for real, he thinks he has like a PTSD type um, background from seeing how she treated me and my sister. And he's just like so unbelievably, radically, massively different. The difference between what went on privately and what went on publicly, and that it was clear that she was able to put on her facade because she could treat us so badly and take it all out on us. Okay, I have yet forever. I'm pretty sure that this thing is going to cut me off, and I guess that means that I need to shut up. I don't know what this was all about. I think it was just like, blah, this is what's going on in my life, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes that's really validating to people that suddenly you're like, what? You're going through that? That's what I'm going through too. Plus, also, you might see somebody, here's another example of it, that appears to have everything going. Life is great behind the surface. No, it's not. Here it is. Here's another example. Reality. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now because I talk forever. Put this up and maybe it will help. Sorry about all of the videos that are going to be coming out with the Advents. The real video will come out next week, and hopefully I'll like have a real topic instead of what this garbage I've been putting out lately. Anyway, bye.